Lions just recovered a fumble.
Bits of wisdom.
It's Harry Houdini, I'm pretty sure.
That's when it kind of becomes Home Improvement After Dark.
I guess that leaves us at the question of the week.
Very good. I don't know if you noticed, Jordan, but a really cool aerial shot of the table. Reasonably funny.
User review.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right, a company that would never get physical with Binford Tools is proud to present a home improvement podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan. Jordan, take two on that intro.
Oh, if that's any indication of what this episode's going to be like, and really the past 20 minutes where we have just not gotten into the actual episode and just wasted your time.
Yeah, my time is valuable on these Fridays too. So yeah, it makes me a little bit angry. How you doing this morning, pal?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Jordan, weather's getting nicer around this time of year.
Yeah, it's getting nice down here too. Last week we took advantage of it. We went putt-putting, one of my favorite pastimes. Maybe one of yours.
I do enjoy a good game of putt-putt. Yeah, we of course there's a Houghton Lake putt-putt course that my family's played at a long time.
I've played at it with you.
For my money, it's the best putt-putt in the world. But every year it's on the brink of going out of business, and there's a new person buying it and stuff. So I'm always worried when I go up there for the first time in the summer that it's not going to be there. I wish I could give it a shout out. It used to be called Putt R Golf, but I think they probably changed the name. But fans of, or rather visitors of Houghton Lake in that area will be familiar with it. It's right there on M55. Around here, we went putt-putting. There's this mall that's near us, really close to us, maybe 5 minute, probably like a 2-minute drive. And it's pretty much abandoned except for a movie theater, a Von Maur, which is women's clothing, I suppose. But there's like a couple of things inside, and it's a huge mall, and one of them is an indoor putt-putt course.
Wow.
Yeah, it's $5. So we did it once, and
that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's weird though, because it's in like the middle of like what you would imagine is like an old Payless or something. But it's like tropical, so they have like fake trees, and we were there. I've never seen anyone else in there. Like we did it one time by ourselves, and we've walked by a handful of times since then, and no one else has ever been in there. But when we went in there, it was just kind of, it's just like some high school kid just like sitting there on his phone, he's in charge. No one else is in there. And Kirsten.
He sounds like he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's got a gun. Kirsten, my girlfriend, it was so quiet in there that she had to ask him to like turn on music, and I think he streamed it from like his phone or something, because it was just like too quiet. They're just in this tropical landscape with pretty much silence. But it was $5 well spent. And you got to do something with these abandoned shopping malls. Right, and that's what we want to talk about today: is abandoned shopping malls and how we'd fix them. So this is a very special moment podcast.
It sure is. It sounds like you are, you search all over the globe for underutilized putt-putt courses and try to keep them in business.
I'm just trying to save small businesses. # save small businesses. I
kind of do the opposite. So, Orlando, entertainment capital of the U.S., I suppose. Mm-hmm. Tons of putt-putt courses around. Disney's got a couple of really good ones. There's one that's really challenging that I enjoy called Fantasia
I bet you hit
Gardens.
The ball through like Goofy's mouth or something really clever like that.
No, it's actually it doesn't have any like characters on it at all. It's just like greens, and they used to actually have real sand and sand traps, but they took out the sand, so now there's just like giant craters on the course.
I heard that you spend more time in the sand than David Hasselhoff. And truth to that.
Well, I only play real golf like once a year.
Yeah, I haven't played in a couple of years. But this isn't about real golf. This is about mini golf. Yeah, there's an outside mini golf course in town as well that I don't think's probably opened yet, but it's down there near Potawatomi Park. Shout out St. Charles, represent. And we'll be checking that out relatively soon. Hopefully once May rolls around. As I said earlier, and I think we probably ended up editing it out, April showers will bring May flowers, so I'm looking for some good weather coming ahead.
You want some flora and fauna,
among other things. Jordan, let's go ahead and cue those grunts.
It's all safe to me. Oh no!
Now it's time for Bits of Wisdom.
This week's bit of wisdom comes from brainy quote /Tim_Allen.html. The world's a mean place. It's unfair, then it's fair. It's hateful, then it's loving. It's a very peculiar place on philosophical and metaphysical and religious levels. This has been your bit of wisdom. So, Jordan,
It is.
Yeah,
It's a weird place indeed.
yeah, it's tough, you know. And I've been thinking this week as we record. This is like our third Hoenn podcast. The last 7 days, I've been thinking the world is unfair in a lot of different ways.
Which ways are that?
Just the ways that when you have to watch a lot of Tim Allen stuff, kind of throughout the week. But I'm not here to complain.
I thought that was a joy for
I'm
you.
not. In many ways, it is. But on a philosophical plane, it is. But on a metaphysical plane, it really isn't. If that makes
On the
if that makes sense.
religious plane, it's very much not.
This has been your bit of wisdom. I don't know if I said that. Hashtag world, hashtag unfair, hashtag fair underneath that brainy quote entry. So just for some context there. What are we covering this week, Jordan?
We are going to cover, this is our 43rd episode of the Hoenn Podcast, and it's Karate or Not, Here I Come.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so the trivia for that title, it's named after the very popular game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
Where you would say, ready or not, here I come. I don't know if you ever played that when you were a kid.
Okay. Familiar, vaguely. I didn't make the connection or not. I just thought, like, oh, they're satirizing film or media in some way. I just didn't understand what that
Some
was.
Tennessee
based on.
Williams play you've never heard
I thought
of.
this was a Spike Lee film I wasn't familiar with.
No, it's not. This one written by Billy Ryback.
Ooh,
The last
Billy
one
Ryback
he wrote.
joint.
Ryback doing. If you remember, the last one we covered by him was "Love Is a Many Splintered Thing." So,
Oh yeah.
there's also going to be some splinters in this episode. So there you go.
I'm gonna need you to explain that to me.
It's going to be in the opening scene where there's a little bit of a wooden block that gets chopped in half.
Oh, right. Fantastic. Good transition. Keep going.
Yeah, aired February 24th, 1993. We've got some plot keywords this time, so
man.
we don't have to come up with our own.
It's funny how some episodes have them, some episodes don't. Wouldn't think this episode someone would take the time to do the plot keywords, but happy to have them.
Boy, did they.
Yeah.
So we've got karate, bully, and dojo.
Okay, yeah.
So, and, we talked about how we can actually click onto these plot
Yeah, I am
keywords.
wondering if you could click on, and I guess people maybe our very, very special Raw Jungle episode has not hit yet, but Jordan made a revelation that you can click on these plot keywords and find out other films that they're related to, and there is a ranking or a hierarchy. Jordan, is that right?
Yeah, they, I don't know, they sort by popularity, so
Okay.
I don't know what exactly the popularity is, because it's not by, 8.4 out of 10 or anything.
I would like you to click on Bully.
All right, bully, do you want movies or TV? I kind of like the movies better.
Movies, yeah.
All right, the number one is Logan. The recent superhero film, the last Wolverine film.
Haven't seen it, but I assume it starts
Must
off...
be a bully.
I assume it starts off with Logan getting jammed into a locker. And
All right, here's my favorite one that I've scrolled through 4, and this is easily my favorite. The 10 Commandments.
Moses gets bullied or something?
The Pharaoh is such a bully.
Oh, man. They're like 10 Commandments? Dummy, there's only 9. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay, that makes sense.
And, one of my favorites. This is a TV series, so I guess it mixed in here. Smallville.
Who's the bully in that? Lex Luger? Or not? That's the wrestler.
Luther.
That's the wrestler.
Is that the wrestler?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some of the interesting ones there.
That is interesting. Do we, Tony Topola in the building?
Tony Topola in the building. Another long one. Plot synopsis. Here we go. On Tool Time, Tim has invited an expert to demonstrate how to cut wood using karate. Al believes he can do it too, and he does. Tim's ego can't take this, and he tries it too, with predictable results. At home, Brad and Randy won't let Mark play football with them. They say Mark is a geek and a chicken. I don't know how you can be both. Come on. Tim and Jill argue that Mark should find a way to improve his confidence. Tim suggests karate, Jill gymnastics. Naturally, Mark chooses karate. In karate class, Mark's partner is a bully, and the boy's mother gets into a fight with Jill and Tim.
I'm going to request that we don't call it karate, we call it karate. The entire episode, or as much as we can.
Yeah, as much as we can remember.
Yeah, thanks Tony Topola, Finland. Glad to have you.
I read that synopsis with predictable results.
Yeah, in that you said a word I was reading as well. You put in a couple of different words than what were in there. It kind of stumbled over. It was predictable in many ways.
Yeah, I like to throw a little flair in there, and that's the Jordan flair.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into the opening scene. You talked about last time how they were not utilizing Tool Time, and it sounds like they heard you because they're going to open on Tool Time with...
Yeah.
I don't even know. Who's this person that's speaking into the microphone? Who is that? Do you know?
Lisa?
Who's that? I don't know. We haven't seen her in a long time.
I see what you're doing. Yeah. It's Lisa, played by Pam Anderson Lee. And yeah, this is kind of, if my memory serves me correctly, this is kind of how the show opens a lot as it goes on with, like, I guess it would end up being Heidi, but I feel like more so as the show goes on, like it opens with the, does everybody know what time it is?
Maybe that's because all of our shows open that way.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of wondering, like, is she going to say home and podcast? Is that possible? Is that in play? That would have been cool.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, we open with Lisa on the set.
Did you see the Home Improvement logo this time?
No, and I was looking. Did you?
Oh, yeah. As she
it?
was announcing, it sneakily moved across the screen like almost like the ESPN bottom line or something.
I love the logo. I love the...
It's a character
the
at this
actor
point.
that plays the logo is, like, really doing a good job.
Top notch. Can we get a bio
I also
on him?
liked his work in Rocko's Modern Life.
What?
I don't know. So we open with that. They're talking, and as I noted to you, Jordan, I should say, before we started. Very few notes on this one for me. Like the fewest notes I've ever had of our.
You just thought the whole episode made sense. There was no questions, no thoughts.
I think my questions are more just like, it's a lot of like one-word notes. So hopefully I can even really understand them. But I know that you did a good job. So they're talking wood cutting and different saws. And Tim, they have conversations about which one they would choose. But what they're really building up to is Robert, the human hatchet Cho, I suppose it's Cho, coming out and doing some sort of a demonstration. And he is a karate master of sorts. Would you say, Jordan?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's certainly a sensei.
Yeah, he's a sensei, certainly. So he comes out and he does his display and he breaks a board with his head. And
who needs a saw?
Who needs a saw when you can use your head? And I think I better just do the credits right now. So Robert Cho, played by Stuart Kwan. He did unfortunately pass away in 2006. I don't want to go into details of it, but he was very young, something like 43, and it sounded like sort of a freak accident. 20 credits to his name. Films such as The Master of Disguise, Big Trouble in Little China, which is not a good movie, but a very good title. Escape from L.A., We Were Soldiers, and he did do an episode of Seinfeld. And I didn't see the title of the episode, but I'm pretty sure it's the episode where Kramer does karate with a bunch of children in a class.
Sounds about right.
Because he is referred to, in the credit, he's referred to as sensei, so it's a similar kind of role.
Yeah.
And we don't see a lot of Robert Cho's acting in this, but he plays the dojo master well.
Yeah, I also read that him and his wife did have a dojo in California as well, a real life one.
Killing it. That's good. That's branded content. Like even when you're playing, you're doing fiction, you're still kind of repping your gym.
That's right.
I'm all about. Well, they do note something here, which was maybe a stretch, just because like we are sort of familiar with the area. But he's going to do a karate presentation at the Fox Theater. Fox Theater's huge. They're not going to fill seats in there.
No, I don't care if it's for the Children's Hospital or not. I don't know that you're going to get as many people in there.
Yeah, so that seemed like I guess like if you're watching this show and you don't know about the Fox, it's right across from Comerica, right there downtown.
It's where they play like all of the really nice like musicals and stage plays.
Big it's a big concert venue as well.
They would put the Lion King on there, but they're also going to do this karate demo.
This karate presentation, they name it. So he breaks the board, and where we're headed with this. There's Tim and Ella. They're kind of conversing. Tim thinks that he's quite certain that he could break the board because it requires, what does he say? It requires
Focus
concentration.
and concentration.
Yeah. Tim says that Al can't do it. Al's pretty sure that he can. Al then goes over and just does it right away. And I'm thinking, there's no way that like a layman could do this. Like you can have all the concentration and focus in the world. You can't break a board over your head without training.
Do you think that this was a real board?
No. Do you?
I don't know. I mean, if it wasn't, they did a really good job of sound effects because it sounded exactly like the first one, which I suppose it could have just been,
I mean, you gotta
editing
assume
work I do.
You gotta assume Quan is breaking that board for real, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did.
Borland, I don't think so. I don't think so, Tim.
Maybe we can tweet at him and see what he says. I want to know.
Yeah, when we get him on the show, this is going to be my number one question. Did you break that board? Did you order the code red? Al does it. Tim goes up next. And you know what, Jordan? Tim can't do it. He hits his head, and then that's basically the cold open.
Did you hear what he yelled before he did it?
Yeah, he said Godzilla. Yeah.
And then so he kind of ends up concussed.
And then later on he yells Mothra. So I mean, is that tasteful? Who am I to say? And then they do a cool karate graphic of the dude kicking.
Yep. And that's,
what do you think of karate or karate?
What do I think of it?
Yeah. What's your opinions on it?
I don't really have any opinion. I was never interested in trying it myself.
You never
the only real experience I have is. In college, I would go get my haircut at Great Clips, and right next to Great Clips was the dojo, and I would often hear some practicing going on while I was getting my haircut. That's about as close as I got. So
downtown Davison, near the Ace Hardware,
the bustling downtown.
Yeah, I would always walk by, and I say always, I don't think it always happens.
Constantly,
I would walk by there, and they had all those big windows, and I would watch those guys do karate. Here's the thing. I guess, if you're doing it, everybody that does it seems to take it so seriously. So there must be something to that. Maybe it's the discipline.
It is definitely the discipline.
I guess it's a discipline. As growing up, I think I just didn't really understand the appeal, or I would think these kids are taking this so seriously, but they're just making noises and kind of throwing their fists. But
it kind of shows why you ended up doing a podcast about home improvement.
Yeah, and, there's basically two. You can go one of two ways. You can either get into karate as a young man, or you can, in your late 20s, do a home improvement podcast. I took the road less traveled, and I think it made all the difference. But no, people love doing karate. It's there's this Bill Cho studios around this area that are very popular. So yeah, I guess it's a good way to teach kids life lessons.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of them around here too. So it's it must be a thriving business.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah. So yeah, next scene opens with kind of a throwaway line, but something that I noticed that just sounded very odd to me. Tim opens by saying, "This spaghetti smells terrific." Just I don't know. This is very. I feel it felt ad-libbed. I don't know.
That felt ad-libbed to you?
Yeah, it just felt like he was just spaghetti smells terrific.
Well, they're gonna make some. The nice thing about spaghetti is that you always have breadsticks with it, And
carry on.
Jill instantly makes fun of him. She says, "Can you break this breadstick with your head?" Because apparently she saw the show, and we'll see that a couple times during this episode. They're gonna.
Yeah, it's used really well both times.
Really funny every time.
The first time it's okay. Second time it's not as funny. But.
The boys come inside, but they are mean to Mark. They lock him out when he does come in. They are messing with him, making fun of him, calling him a geek, a chicken, and apparently
Mark gets called a lot of different names on this episode.
And he gets slapped around quite a bit. Poor guy. I feel like Tim and Jill are not really stepping in here to discipline their kids. They basically just say, "Stop doing that."
Yeah.
That's not effective.
They need to put an end to it. It's been going on for almost 2 seasons.
It's a long time.
But instead of disciplining Randy and Brad, they decide instead of tackling the problem head on, they decide that Mark has a self-confidence problem. So they don't want to go for the root of the problem. They just want to try to make a cosmetic fix. So they decide that he needs to find something to do, and for some reason it has to be either gymnastics or karate. He can't do baseball, swimming, basketball, or anything else. It has to be one of these two things. They decide right away. Tim wants karate. Jill wants gymnastics, and eventually they bring him down and they try. Both sides kind of try. They say they're not going to try to sway him, but they both kind of do in their own way. And Mark he chooses karate, and his dad is very pleased.
What a mistake! He obviously should have went with gymnastics here.
He wouldn't have got bullied probably.
Yeah, probably.
Or he probably would have gotten bullied because
Either way, he's getting bullied.
Yeah, probably.
I kind of liked Tim's first advice to the kids, which was teach him how to be better at football instead of making fun of him.
Yeah. Why'd you like that?
I feel like that's a better solution. Like, he can play with his brothers, maybe, and instead of, his brothers mocking him, they have to redirect their energy into something else. But
also, Brad, why are you making fun of Mark when you can't even pass, math class? You can't do anything in school, so why is he... I guess that's just older brother syndrome, right? You get to make fun of... Mark probably is already better in school than his brother, Brad.
Easily.
Fair to say.
So let's
we're
move to the dojo.
Here. Yeah, dojo.
Tim comes in, and the teacher from the demonstration earlier happens to be the teacher at this dojo. And he starts by doing a demo for the kids, and like you said, it's very serious throughout this scene at the start.
That's true to life, though. These people, not these people, but people that are in karate, they take karate very seriously, and they'll make the noises and stuff, and everybody buys in.
It's mind over, like you said, it's discipline, it's focus, it's concentration, and they're going to carry that through here.
Yeah.
Tim is trying to copy the sensei. He's not doing a very good job, and then the teacher stops and is like, "Are you okay? Is your muscle spasming?"
And the scene is like Amy Poehler in Mean Girls when they're doing the Christmas pageant, and she's doing the same dance moves in the aisle. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Jill comes in, and she's kind of okay with this at first. At this point, they are following their teacher's instructions, doing all the different poses and things that they have to do there. And Mark's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty confident. And I was wondering why the instructor wasn't facing the kids at this point. And this is the first... My biggest problem with this episode is actually going to be the way that Mr. Cho kind of treats this class. He doesn't seem to get involved in anything. He doesn't seem to care about what's going on in the sidelines.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You're saying he's a... That's what you're saying.
It's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm just...
Okay.
It seems... we'll talk about it a little bit later. But
okay.
Yeah, so Jill says maybe it's not so bad after all. And, right as she's going to leave, the sensei says it's free fighting time. And she's like, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. She comes back and wants to watch a little bit more. Things start to get a little bit more intense, and two older boys show exactly what they're looking forward to one day. And,
you should really emphasize a little more intense, because that's the phoniest fight
I was gonna say
ever. They just do the poses, and I mean it's.
But I think that's the point too.
Okay, you're not supposed to actually get physical.
I don't think that they're trying to do this to beat each other up.
I don't think so either. But she gets concerned over this very, very choreographed fight between these two older boys, and then she decides to stick around. I kind of thought that Jill seemed to not really have an understanding of what karate was. She seems kind of surprised by everything that's going on.
It's not in her wheelhouse. I mean, would you expect it to be in her wheelhouse?
Opera, karate, I suppose not. You ever seen Beverly Hills Ninja?
Is that the one with Chris Farley?
Yeah.
Not for a long time. Probably 20 years ago.
It's pretty funny.
I don't know when it came out.
It's it's. I guess after he made it, he's like, I'm never doing a movie like that again. I hate it. But I think it's kind of funny. Well. Is it tasteful? No. But
that's not the goal, huh?
It's not that. It was not what they were going for in 1997. No, but I don't know. Whenever I see karate being done, I think of Beverly Hills Ninja, for better or worse. But so free fighting.
Time to partner up, right?
Time to partner up, yeah. And Mark is partnered with a bully.
Artie is his name.
Artie the bully. Oh no. And the bullying is not handled with a lot of dignity, I wouldn't say. Basically, they're doing their karate, and then whenever the teacher turns around, this guy will just kind of slap Mark upside the head. And it happens a couple of times, and Jill takes notice, and she doesn't like it, Jordan.
Nah,
she doesn't like it.
Artie's mom is, right away, she's goading her kid into beating this kid up, not in the real spirit of karate.
No, but she actually thinks it is the real spirit of karate.
So she also, like Jill, does not quite understand, but in a different way.
Well, let's go ahead and play a clip here, shouldn't we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Everyone stand up, get a partner, quick! Grab a partner, let's go. Let's go. You two up front.
Hey, this isn't fair. That kid's way bigger than Mark.
You got it?
All right, Artie, get ready to kick some butt, huh?
Boy, there's a mom you could love, huh?
Yeah, that butt she wants kicked is Mark's.
It's just an exercise. Mark, go on. Come on, buddy.
Go, 1, 2. That's it.
See?
Keep your hands up.
Hey, did you see that? That kid slapped him in the back of the head when the teacher wasn't looking.
Mark, let it go, buddy. Let it go. Focus. Come on.
High block knifing. 1, 2.
No, Artie, grind him up, huh?
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't think you should be encouraging your child in this sort of behavior.
What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, he just slapped my boy.
It's karate class? That's what it's all about.
No, slapping is not what it is all about.
Hey, if Stick Boy can't take it, get him out of here.
He did it again. Hey, come on, tell your kid to stop playing dirty.
Listen, they are just having fun. Artie's not gonna hurt Stick Boy.
Would you stop calling my kid Stick Boy?
Then feed him something. Face it, lady, your kid's a weenie. Artie just gave him a little tap.
Well, how would you like it if somebody gave you a little tap, huh? Is that fun?
Don't touch me, lady.
Hey, don't shove me.
Get out of my face.
Why don't you tell that to your breakfast donut?
Hey, honey. Stop it.
All right, so this is a contentious scene here. This kid keeps slapping Mark, and Jill is offended and first she tries to get the mom to get this kid to stop. I would say maybe look at the teacher. That would also probably help in this situation, but she doesn't do that. Instead, things escalate pretty quickly. Shoving matches, Stick Boy is thrown around a couple times, and that really drives Jill crazy.
The idea of this woman calling Mark Stick Boy repeatedly. I mean, one, really not much of a burn. Like most,
She's
just like
more offended that Jill apparently doesn't feed her kid.
Evidently, but I don't know. Mark, I don't think of Mark as being malnourished or anything, but yeah, she repeatedly calls him Stick Boy. It was Jill went to bat for Mark here, and things get physical, of course, and she does. She calls the woman fat, or does so, in a sense by saying something
those
about
donuts out of your face.
Get those donuts out of your face. Oh no, what a dig! The mom is very familiar. Daphne is what she goes by in the episode. Somehow
somebody made that up.
Yeah, her name is, let me see if I wrote this right. I believe it's Mary Pat Green. 90 credits to her name. Lots of film work. So, Fantastic Four, the most recent one. Triple X with Vincent Diesel. Yes Man, The Breakup. And then one of my guilty pleasures, Drill Bit Taylor. But yeah, she's a very familiar face, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. And she hits Tim. She goes to hit Jill with her purse. Instead, Tim gets hit in the head, and he's still suffering from his concussion from the opening scene when he tries to break that board with his head, I would say. Because I don't know if getting hit with the purse like that would necessarily hurt that bad. But
You ever been hit with a purse?
I guess I don't have first-hand experience, but it seems unlikely.
Guess you don't know.
She did say hi-ya as she's doing it, so maybe that extra...
maybe she does adult karate.
Maybe. Just like Kramer.
But in a kid's class. I wish we were covering that episode. We go home, and Jill immediately lets herself off the hook for her misdoings by saying, you can't really help but being physical in a karate class. Everybody's fighting one another.
That's right.
So basically, she's just like, well, what do you expect me to do?
Association.
Handle it better. Everyone is teasing, or I guess rather, Tim is getting teased by Brad and Randy.
They again tease Mark. They start slapping him up a bit.
Just a lot of teasing going on, and that's basically it for that scene. I mean,
yeah, and Jill is just sick of the fighting at this point.
Yeah, she is. She says something funny and then goes upstairs.
I don't know why they don't do anything. The kids come around and start slapping Mark.
Yeah,
it seems exaggerated, of course, to make a point in the scene, but also you have to stop that, and you can't just say stop.
You have to. Time out.
I'm
Go to your
questioning
bedroom.
these parenting skills right now.
Groundings.
Groundings.
Yeah, groundings. Resorted groundings. Yeah, I agree with you, Jordan. It's not very good parenting in this episode. And you got to look back at Billy Ryback for answers on that. I don't know. Maybe we can get him on the line.
Maybe we can. All right, let's go to Tool Time. We're going to see that the second time in this episode.
They do a better job with Tool Time in this episode. Not only does the cold open kind of it relates to the whole episode, but they use Tool Time kind of effectively here.
I would agree. So they're repairing a mortise and tenon joint, which leads to a rigor mortis joke by Tim. With predictable results, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
So Tim wants to do a little bit of camouflage corner time. Al has no idea what this is, and they go through the pictures that we've seen so often. I did laugh when he said something about like camouflaging the tool shed, and he just puts like on those glasses on him.
Yeah, it was like the Groucho Marx.
You just weren't expecting it, so it worked well.
I thought so too.
There's also Lisa brings out this wallpaper full of light switches, and they try to find where's the hidden actual light switch in this wallpaper. Not very funny, but then they turn the wall around, and there is a giant Al wallpaper. Basically, it's got his plaid shirt top, and then the tool belt, and then the jeans. And Al walks over, and he fits in pretty nicely.
Do you think this was funny?
It was okay. I'm wondering the logistics of.
It's pretty high concept for Home Improvement.
Well, somebody had to get the perfect wallpaper for what he was wearing that day, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was the funniest thing they've ever done, but at least it was something different.
It was fine.
And it related to what they were talking about, so I'll give them credit on that.
We just want more Tool Time at this point, so we're okay with it.
The audience seemed happy, so when
the audience seems happy at everything.
When you get down to it, that's really what it's all about, is the audience being happy. Mm-hmm. We transition back to the side yard. Mark and Tim are practicing karate. Tim is getting tired, and then Mark kind of scoots off. And then we have Wilson, and it's Wilson and Tim, and they're at the fence, and I think you can probably imagine what's going to happen. But rather than just imagining, we'll play a clip for you.
Hi-ho, neighbor.
Hey, Wilson, how are you?
You all right there?
I'm great. I got him in a karate class. We're out here practicing some moves,
Yes, karate does build up the stamina.
Yeah. Jill thinks I'm taking a karate class, so I'll teach him how to fight.
Oh, so Jill thinks you have a predilection for aggression.
Predilection?
Let's just say proclivity.
Proclivity? What else you got?
How about inclination?
Inclination, yeah. Well, that's what she thinks, anyway.
But you're not actually encouraging Mark to fight.
No, I just want him to be able to stand up for himself. But if he gets in a bad situation, I'd like him to be able to kick butt in a major way. But every dad wants that,
Gandhi's dad didn't.
Well, maybe Gandhi was a major disappointment to his dad. Maybe Gandhi didn't eat because he wouldn't fight kids for his lunch money. How about that?
Well, now, Tim, are we talking about the same Gandhi?
Not unless he went to my elementary school. See, when I was that age, if I couldn't wisecrack my way out of a situation, sometimes I'd run. And I'm thinking that karate would give Mark, the ability to stand up for himself.
Well, Tim, I'm reminded of what the Greek historian Herodotus said. Where wisdom is called for, force is of little use.
Of course, wisdom is the best way to go. But when a fat kid is slapping around, you don't have time to be thinking about reciting the state capitals alphabetically.
Well, that's interesting. Albany, Annapolis, Atlanta,
Wilson!
Baton Rouge.
You got a minute?
Oh, I'm sorry, neighbor.
Do you think it's a bad idea to teach the kid karate?
You just have to remember that when you give a boy a weapon like karate, that he's mature enough to know when to use it.
Yeah, he is a little kid, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Have a good day.
Mm-hmm. Bismarck, Boise, Boston, Carson City, Charleston, Cheyenne, Columbia.
All right, so Wilson's diagnosis here is that, Tim is inclined to aggression, and we learned a little bit more about Tim's story as a kid. We know that he's a wiseacre, but we also know that he was bullied a little bit as a kid. And so he's hoping that his son, who seems to be bullied more often than the other two, will be able to stand up for himself. So that's kind of
doing that stuttering thing that he did when he was talking about his dad, kind of. Did you notice that? He does, his serious acting where he's like, as a kid, I was kind of bullied. It's good. It's fine. He can transition into different emotions, so he's
a
fundamental
human.
acting chops. Yeah, he's a human. They keep calling this kid that's bullying Mark fat. I didn't think he was fat, and people kept saying it. He's pretty regular for a kid.
He just seems like big. I don't know what his age is.
Yeah, but everybody's calling him like pudgy.
I don't know.
No, Jordan, I don't. Why don't you tell me?
Maybe they're comparing him to Gandhi.
Maybe they're more Stick Boy, I guess. But
Both.
They keep calling like this kid like this. Even Tim calls him a fat kid. Like in this scene, it's like, well, maybe you should stop bullying this child and he'll stop bullying your child. Next scene.
Wait, hold on. I wanted to say the final lesson is kind of the Spider-Man lesson. With great power comes great responsibility. But in Wilson's terms, it's when you give a boy a weapon, he must be mature enough to use it. So
yeah,
that's
this is kind of the Home Improvement Spider-Man episode.
Later we're gonna get Mark like snapping in his emo.
Yeah.
That's how much the confidence is going to grow in him.
There's that deleted scene where they go on the field trip to the lab, and Mark gets bitten by a radioactive spider, and then James Franco shows up, and it's good. It's a good one. It's one of the worst.
It's a very long episode. We don't have time to get into all that, but
we're back in the dojo.
Yes,
and the instructor, he's not wearing a shirt. Like,
he's pretty ripped. I don't blame him. I guess.
I don't know. You put a shirt on, you coaching. I mean, it seems kind of strange.
He's just giving everybody what they have to look forward to when they get really into karate.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you kids keep doing this your whole lives. Eventually, you can have a body like this. He's the dojo daddy, if you will. So Tim's there again, and he meets Artie's what we're to believe is Artie's father. And the messages, or like the moral of this episode, is interesting because Mark is supposed to, with great power comes great responsibility. Try to talk things out before you fight. But the parents are both sort of bullies in this episode. Mm-hmm. Like Tim immediately he thinks he meets Artie's father, and he's like, "Hey, short, and he's really short, and like Tim's way taller. And that's supposed to be the joke. Hey, short guy, tell your kid to quit messing with my kid, or I'm gonna take care of business." So he just kind of like starts essentially being a bully. Well, backfires. Come to find out, that's Artie's uncle. And Roy is his father. And Roy, he is built like a brick wall. Jordan, he is huge. And there's some kind of funny lines here where like Tim has the realization that he was not talking to the father, but the uncle, he says, "Why aren't you his father? Why aren't you?" I
also
funny.
Liked when they try to ask like what his name is. He says Al Borland.
Al Borland, yeah.
Mark tries to come to his defense as things get a little heated with Roy. They start having a war of words. Mark kind of gets pushed to the side.
Yeah, that's bad. You can't do that. If somebody pushes your kid, you kind of have to fight them.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. Again, I'm wondering, where is this teacher? Like, this seems like a good time to step in and maybe de-escalate things. It's not like he can't see what's going on here.
Yeah, if karate is discipline, then he should be kind of trying to impart some of that wisdom on the parents. But instead, he is nowhere to be found.
He's just absent.
He's a real laissez-faire, just like, hey, I'm just here for the instruction.
He's going to get some bad reviews on his Yelp account. His Yelp
score is probably really not very high. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of dojos in suburban Detroit, so NBD,
That's right. So Tim eventually is about to get punched in the face when his point to Mark is, "See, I should have walked away." So I guess that's the moral of the story. Walk away, huh?
Yeah, and then it's very tastefully underscored by them cutting to, how would you describe it? Cuts
like a Batman pow thing?
It like fades to black, and then like there's like a pow, or like, yeah, it's a graphic of some sort that's supposed to be like, like his bell is, well, the bell has been wrong, but like it's like him seeing stars.
Then they do show a bell after that.
Yeah, and then he's like, "That's your best shot," and then it's another punch, and then it's another like one of those graphics like, "That was better," and then they show a bell ringing, and it's the end of the fight.
Sounds like we've got a case of assault and battery here.
Yeah, seriously. Speaking of batteries, I've heard you've had a difficult time finding a place to recycle yours. No,
this doesn't seem the right time to talk about that.
What do you... it's pretty cheesy. I mean, it's like it's about as cheesy as it gets. I mean, what would you have had them do? Or like, do you think that this is the best case scenario? Like, they're not going to show this fight, I guess, for whatever reason. But
yeah, do you want to see him get punched in the face?
I don't know.
I still want Mr. Cho to step in and break the tension here, impart some actual wisdom.
I just mean this was like just so like low budget, kind of cheesy, but I guess like whatever. I don't know. That's
kind of how I feel about this episode.
That's what we do. Yeah, I suppose you're right. But so we head back home. Mr. Cho. Mr. Cho has decided he's finally taken some action. Mark got moved to a different class.
The great solution, Mr. Cho.
Yeah, but he got moved to a different class because his parents don't understand basic philosophy of karate. That's not going to be fixed by moving Mark to a different class.
No.
You should just ban him from... You either have a sit down with the parents and explain it to him, or ban him from the studio.
Mr. Cho in this episode...
Studio? No, it's called the dojo. Studio, dojo, interchange.
Yeah, Billy Ryback writes Mr. Cho as like the most inept person with dealing with issues in his classrooms.
Yeah, let's just say he couldn't make enough as a vice principal or any kind of a school authority figure, because his problem solving is he just sweeps things under the rug, thinks they're going to go away. It doesn't work.
That's not how life works, and I doubt that's how Stuart was in real life. So it's. Yeah, I don't know. That's the most annoying part to me in this episode. But at the end, it sounds like for some reason Jill is going to turn this into Home Improvement After Dark for a minute.
Yeah, they're going to let off some steam. Oh yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Instead, they just break some of those breadsticks together.
Yeah,
with their head.
It was a letdown. They were really setting us up for some bona fide banging, but no, they break sticks over their head and that's it. Then we roll some credits, but we're not going to fade to black yet because Wilson has to run through more state capitals. We didn't mention the state capital thing. Go ahead.
We didn't mention that when we played the Wilson clip earlier, but Wilson is going to diffuse a situation, I suppose, by saying the state capitals in
it's the whole
alphabetical
thing
order
that we've seen before, where it's like, if someone's making fun of you, make fun of yourself. It's like if you're getting bullied, you can start doing the state capitals, but odds are when you've gotten to, I don't know, like Charleston, you're going to be getting punched in the face. So maybe just walk away instead of doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a great solution.
Then we roll credits, fade to black, karate or not. Here I come.
There we went. There we went.
There we went. You're right. Jordan, highs and lows.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we both know my biggest low is how they treat the karate teacher in this episode. Starts out seeming competent, and then when we get into the actual dojo, I just don't know what happens. He doesn't know how to manage his class. It's very disappointing. And then I would say my high is, the Home Improvement logo continues to be an exciting character that they're adding to the show.
Yeah, he is really good. Yeah, I heard he's supposed to be in the next season of The Handmaid's Tale, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's going to be the authoritarian leader. So
he's one of the handmaids.
I did think it was good that they had some more tool time. Lisa get on the screen twice.
Yes, I mean, we haven't seen her in so long, you don't even know her name.
I know, so that's good that we saw her. Other than that, I don't understand why they won't discipline their kids at all in this episode. Tim and Jill, they just kind of let Mark and Brad beat up on. Brad and Randy beat up on Mark. So
you are sharp as a tack today.
I'm in trouble
from some karate.
I also am concussed. I tried to break a board before this episode started. So this isn't like the worst episode just because they do something different. I guess something new instead of just like fighting and going to a restaurant or something. But what they do with it, I'm not that impressed with. So.
I agree. Yeah, this one is pretty down the middle for me. It doesn't have any high highs, but I suppose it doesn't have any real low lows. The karate setting was a welcome change. The guest stars are adequate. I think probably the Daphne, Mary Pat Green kind of back and forth with Jill is fun. I guess it's fun to see the two women fight. I don't know, something different. The moral here is, like I said, a little bit like muddled because, Mark is supposed to not fight, but his parents fight every chance they get, and they don't really seem to feel any remorse for that. Tool time was better used. I think the breaking the board stuff in the beginning was okay. The Al camouflage was kind of funny. Randy and Brad are sort of useless in this one, but it's an okay episode. Like I said, just very, very average for me, which is better than having it be below average. And you can quote me on that.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. So karate or not, here we come. Or rather, here we've gone, I suppose. So
there we went.
Yeah. What's next, Jordan?
What's next? Let's get into social media. What do you think about that?
I think we can get into social media, or we can open the mailbag.
Ooh, open the mailbag.
Yeah,
well, let's get in the mailbag.
All right, cool.
You've got mail.
So this week's question comes from Awesome Sauce on Twitter. Not so much a question as it is more of a request, but hey, we'll take anything really at this point. So Awesome Sauce says, would love to hear you guys come up with new, better titles for anything. Doesn't have to be this episode you think has a bad title. So Awesome Sauce wants us to kind of rework titles we don't like. We don't like most titles. Most titles. I think we may try to do this every episode moving forward, depending on how it goes. But we did come up with some revamped titles for this one. Jordan, you originally came up with half a dozen.
Titles are kind of my specialty. So
I thought that was
five
finance.
came to me.
All right, so let's see. Let's each do. You have two, and I have two.
Yeah, I narrowed it down to two. I whittled it down.
Let's go one at a time. So you give me your first one.
All right, I'm going to go with my weaker one.
Yeah.
And it's really specific to a part of the episode we just talked about that I didn't really enjoy. And it has to do with Wilson's reciting of the capitals. It's called Capital Punishment because...
Ooh, that's good. That sounds like a straight-to-DVD action movie.
Because I'm pretty sure if you were reciting the capitals, you would be punished.
Capital Punishment. Yours are better than mine. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Because my first one is... This is my weaker one, but it's my first... It's the first one I'm going to share. Crazy for karate. with a K on each one. So crazy.
Well, naturally.
Crazy for karate. Number 4.
Number 4. That's good.
Yours is better.
Yeah. Well, my other one is Stick Boy's No Good Very Bad Day.
Okay.
He has a tough day.
He does. My last one. I feel better about this. Taekwondo Don't Bully.
It's a good message. I mean, you don't even have to watch the episode.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, I felt good about that one. Crazy for karate, less so, but, we did the best we could. So, thank you, Awesome Sauce, for your question. And, Jordan, if folks have questions, how can they reach out to us?
They can reach out to us by going to our website, thehomanpodcast.com. There is a contact tab there. Feel free to go on Facebook, facebook.com/homanpodcast. On Twitter, we are at homanpodcast. We did not get any reviews this week. It sounds like my mom was trying so that we could get Adam to sing. So we're going to figure that out. We want to hear Adam sing, but, if you want to go ahead and leave us a review, we can get Adam to sing even quicker.
A personalized song.
Personalized song.
And I don't mean to say a whole song. I should really just amend that by saying a personalized verse of a song.
Oh. All right. Well, you're backtracking. Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do things around here.
So yeah, definitely leave us a review. That is the best way for people to hear about us and to have us shoot up the iTunes rankings. So, what's going on Twitter for you? Did you do any polls?
I did 2 polls actually.
Let's hear them.
Okay, I'm trying to find them. So poll number 1, 13 votes, so a little bit down from last week, but far from our lowest number. Will you miss Jennifer Sadarsky? 8% said, I don't know who that is. Then why vote? 38% said, yes, a good character. 54% said, no, she'd run her course. So half of our listeners not sad to see Jennifer go. That kind of surprises me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was okay with seeing her every once in a while, as long as she doesn't come on as much as the K&B boys.
Construction Boys.
Yeah,
or the logo. I mean, this is the logo show at this point.
Yeah, just get off his lawn.
I heard the logo had behind the scenes, there was like a lot of on-set fighting between the Logo and Tim over just kind of the alpha male. You know,
yeah, a lot of contract disputes too.
Yeah,
they didn't want to pay the Logo.
Well, the Logo also, you know, he was always like just coming in late, kind of hungover and smoking cigarettes in front of the kids, and
you can definitely see it in the way that he appears in the episode.
Well, he looked hungover. He looked hungover as shit at the beginning of this episode. I mean, you can just tell.
The last one, he was just sitting on the ledge.
I know. He just always. I think he's just so high. He's just so stoned always.
He's kind of like Towley.
He's a lot like Towley.
You want to get high?
Next poll. Do you walk the mathematical walk and talk the mathematical talk? 14 votes. 21% said, IDK, dude. So there's that. I gotta stop leaving options like that. 29% said, yes, I'm a savant. And even 50% said, no, I use a calculator. So, yeah.
I feel like some of those are not mutually exclusive. Like, I feel like you can be good at math, but also use a calculator.
Yeah, well, I feel like you just gotta go with the polls that I make, and if you don't like them, well, don't vote. Jordan, also, if people want to support us, or rather, if they want to listen to this hot Jungle to Jungle episode that we've mentioned probably just a time or two. Yeah, it's unfettered. We recorded it a couple days ago. It's long. It's a couple hours long, and it's raw.
It's fantastic.
It's raw. Jordan is working his way on editing it. So if people want to listen to that, go ahead and support the show. You can do that on our website, thehomeandpodcast.com. I've been tweeting a little bit about it as well. So you can do that via PayPal or Patreon as well. So if you want to hear that episode, throw us some bones. And
or just one single bone.
Throw us a bone or more, though, probably. And yeah, that's that. So Jordan, question of the week. It's your turn. So hopefully you have something prepped and primed.
All right, so we went through the episode. We don't, like you said, you just didn't have a lot of notes, and the notes that we did have, we already asked about fights, so we can't do that again. So instead, I went to Google. I found an article from Buzz Kenya. Naturally,
I feel like I've been to Buzz Kenya. Man, that's a really familiar website. I feel like I was either I'm having deja vu or someone else went to Buzz Kenya, and never mind. It was on another podcast. Someone did a web search and they ended up on BuzzKenya.com. So
Buzz Kenya.
Yeah, it's like because
free
keep
pub.
going. Yeah,
free pub.
Yeah.
So the question that I came up with, there's 100 here. So if you don't like it, I guess I could move on to another one. But what kind of sickness have you lied about so you wouldn't have to go to school or work?
Like what kind of sickness? I mean, I don't know that I've ever gone into like specifics because I think like
you just said I was sick.
Whenever Jordan, I teach a little bit, as in like for my career. I'm a teacher.
Sure?
And like whenever you get emails like with college, like the kids will like email you sometimes and let you know like the more specific someone is in these emails, like sometimes people will be like, sorry, Mr. Dietz, I can't come to class today. I've been throwing up all night and into the hours of the morning because like the more specific they get, like the more it feels like a lie. So like I think whenever I've lied about being sick for something, I've been pretty vague because I think it's just like the best way to go about it. So I remember the last time I did it. I mean, I can't remember that specifically, but I would say like when I taught in Brazil for a summer, like I was supposed to teach a class on the 4th of July. Which like Independence Day for us
really
isn't like a big deal for them. But I had, instead of like saying anything about the class, like I just like we went on like a miniature trip to. It was I guess it would have been. So yeah, I was in Rio de Janeiro. This is a story where it's like you're such a douchebag. Like, so I better just hurry up and get to the end of it. So basically, I was on a trip in Brazil for the 4th of July, and I was supposed to teach a class, and I just like never. I was only 21, so that's my excuse. I just never told them I wasn't going to be there. So I actually ended up having one of my sister's friends who was on the trip as well call for me, my Brazilian boss, and say that I was so sick that I couldn't even make it to the phone, and that the class was going to have to be canceled. And she didn't really like that, and when I ended up leaving a couple weeks later, I was done teaching all the classes, she did not say goodbye to me. So I think that maybe that just did not agree with her. Because when my last class got out, and then I said, all right, thanks for the opportunity, and then she just nodded her head, and I never saw her again. So yeah, there you go.
All right, well, that's an interesting lie you told.
Yeah. Well, I didn't tell it. I got someone else to tell it for me.
Who suffered?
Because
The
I'm
kids.
A coward. They were adults. It was an adult English
The
class.
adults suffered then.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They can still learn.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
In high school, I'm a big fan of college basketball and March Madness. And
Yes.
So the first couple days of March Madness are very entertaining. Lots of games. They usually start at noon. And so one year, I'm a relatively good kid. I didn't get into a lot of trouble, and I had pretty good grades. So my mom was pretty lenient with me in the later years of high school, and she called me out of, I guess it would have been that Thursday of the start of March Madness one year. And on my, they give you a little slip that says, what you're, whatever was you were leaving school for, or whatnot, leaving class for, to give to the teacher or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the reason I was leaving was the madness. It said the madness on there. So
see, you think you're really rebellious in doing that, but I
didn't do it. My mom did it. That's the funny thing.
Jordan,
my mom said
Jordan,
he's got the
1
madness.
million, upwards of 60 people left early during high school for March Madness every year.
I'm not saying that it's significant or anything. I just said I was wondering what the teachers were thinking when it said the madness.
They were thinking
you've gone crazy.
No way, man. They were this dude and or his parents think they're being clever. It's it's like a guy taking his kid out for opening day of baseball season, and it's just.
Do they write down baseball, or do they write down the madness?
They write down opening day flu. And on that note, this has been Karate or Not. Here I come. Next week on the show, shooting 3 to make 2-2. And I don't want to spoil anything, but Brad and Randy are going to smoke a cigar. So
we'll most certainly be coming up with a new name to that episode.
Put on your sunglasses and spark up a doobie, because things are going to get wild. Jordan, thanks for listening. And everyone out there, thank you for listening as well. And I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.